What's up, everyone? Welcome into another edition and a new season of Inside the GIAA, presented by
the Beck Center.
Thank you to Roger Beck and the Beck Center, as always, bringing you all the GIAA state championships from every sport across the board. The biggest advocate of the GIAA, and we appreciate his support of what we do here and helping us get this show started last January, and now we're picking it back up in football season. We'll be doing this every Wednesday night until championship Wednesday, or championship week of football. So for the next 6, 7, 8 weeks, we're going to be here giving you all the action for volleyball, softball, cheerleading, cross country. You name the sport, we're going to talk about it right here for the fall season of Inside the GIAA.
Yeah, it's great to be here. It seems like it was yesterday that we were here for spring sports, and now we're here especially with the championships, and the brackets are out for some of the sports, and we're going to be covering all the fall sports, not just football, but also volleyball, softball, competition, cheer, clay shooting, cross country, and we also have those championship sites as well.
Yes, we do. So we're going to have all those dropping tonight, and we're going to have the volleyball rankings came out, the final one before the championship and the end of the season. As the playoffs start this Saturday, we'll drop those. Where are the seedings? We'll go update the bracket, who's playing this Saturday and more, and where. We'll talk about softball. They have one more week left in the regular season after this week. And October 11th, when the final rankings will come out. Bracket for the state tournament starts October the 16th at South Commons in Columbus. So can't wait to talk about those two sports specifically, Rich.
Yeah, double elimination tournament, as we were there last year. 8 teams in all classifications. There are 4 classifications in softball. For volleyball, there's only 2 classifications. There's AA and AAA. And this Saturday, we're going to have first and second round matchups at the top 4 seed sites, as the winner will actually advance to the semifinals, which will be held on Friday at Shorter University.
I hope everybody loves the new Beck Center studios. Thank you to Roger Beck again for helping us get these new studios up and ready for you for rock and roll. They look fantastic, and we are always about bringing you up-to-date information and coverage around the GIAA. Cross-country state meet comes up October the 25th, Richard. We are hoping all those cross-country athletes are doing the best they can, as I know they got several meets. The last day of competition has to be Saturday, October the 18th, and Saturday, October the 25th. At Middle Georgia State University in Macon, they will have their final championship meet, and cannot wait for those athletes to compete then for the GIAA Cross Country State Championships.
Yeah, they have been competing hard and looking at the meet from last year. I mean, it's a 5K. There's AA, there's AAA, there's boys and girls classifications, and we got some returning runners. I mean, we had some top scores from last year that are returning. So good luck to all the participants as they run in the state. We still have some races going on in cross country, but we'll have their state championship, and hopefully, everybody does a great job as they get ready for that.
We're going to take a break. When we come back from break, we're going to start talking about those rankings. Coming up first is the softball rankings, and we'll have them right after this break on Inside the GIAA, presented by the Beck Center.
Real recognize real. Real taste, unmistakably Sprite. Real refreshment, crisp lemon lime. Sprite. Obey your thirst.
Even though I'm away at college, Kinetic Credit Union is still the best way for me to stay connected here and at home. With the Kinetic mobile app, I have control of my accounts wherever I go. I can easily transfer money between internal and external accounts, get money faster by setting up recurring transfers, and I can find the nearest ATM or branch right from my phone. Plus, I can add my Kinetic cards to my phone's digital wallet and enjoy quick, secure, contactless payments. By the way, Mom, I need some more money.
Kinetic Credit Union, the energy for your dreams.
Welcome back, everyone, inside the GIAA here, presented by the Beck Center and the Beck Center Studios. All right, you're here for one reason only, not to look at me and Richard's face, even though I know, Richard, you have a decent-looking face, man.
Thank you.
But I think you're here to watch these rankings. So let's throw them up there to our esteemed producer. I mean, he is really just wheeling and dealing right now.
Yes, he has.
I don't know if he wants us to shout him out, but he's doing a great job. All right, we'll start at 1A softball. First, number 8, and remember, all 8 of these teams are making the state tournament that we played at South Commons coming up October the 16th through the 18th. We got Westwood at number 8. We got Twiggs Academy at number 7. Fullington at number 6. Thomas Jefferson at number 5. And then we got the teams with winning records. Crisp Academy at number 4. Robert Toombs number 3. David Emmanuel, 15-2. And Citizens Christian, those two are the favorites. They come in at number 1 and number 2, Rich. I'm looking forward to seeing how these teams battle it out coming up in the state tournament, if this is how the final rankings play out. And don't forget, it is double elimination at South Commons.
Yeah, and Citizens Christian is the defending single A champions. They actually they lost that first game to Crisp Academy, which was the runner-up. As I remember, I was on the call last year with Aiden Mozingo, and then they had an elimination game in the second game because in the double elimination tournament, if you win out, you get to the championship. If you lose the championship, you turn around and play a second game. And Citizens Christian ended up playing that second game after losing that first game. So, yeah, they're looking to go back-to-back in single A.
All right, so there is your Class 1A softball rankings once again. Now let's go to 2A. And again, this is the season ended now. They'll have their final rankings coming up, excuse me, in over a week. So we have number 8, Trinity Christian, and then Edmund Burke, who is a 1A team in football, but 2A in softball. Windsor at number 6, 8-5. Gatewood, 9-7. Briarwood. I love saying Briarwood.
Briarwood.
I love like Friar Tuck. I just like Friar and Briar. I love that. And when I hear Briarwood, I think about Friar Tuck from Robin Hood. Briarwood 8-7. I know they're going to try to be the Robin Hood, and it's surprising people because the favorites are Southland at 16-6, Southwest Georgia Academy at 13-5, and with one loss, it's Brentwood Academy. Here are the rankings right now, Richard.
Yeah, and it's fitting. The defending 2A champion, Southwest Georgia Academy, who's number 2, trying to go back-to-back, and they faced Brentwood in the championship last year, and Brentwood having a great season, only one loss.
Yeah, so we can't wait to see how the 2A classification plays out, but here are the 8 teams that would make the state tournament in 2A. From 2A, we go to 3A, and here are the 3A softball rankings. Now, you're talking about some powerhouses.
Powerhouses.
Piedmont, 1-16, they're
played a lot of tough teams.
They have, and there is only 8 teams in 3A classification.
Exactly.
So I actually think there's 9. So somebody had to get left out, and Piedmont's not going to be one of them. But then everybody else is battling it out, especially from 3 through 7. Valwood at 8-7. Athens Christian, a 4A school in most sports, 3A here. They come in at number 6 at 6-8. Tifton area, 6-6. John Millage, 11-7, a powerhouse.
Look out for John Millage.
How about Pinewood? We've seen them win championships, 9-10. Terrell Academy, that's been the powerhouse this year, and I think the favorite, and it seems like they're the favorite almost every single year, is Westfield School at 13-6.
Yeah, Westfield School is in a region with a bunch of 4A teams, including the number 1 team in 4A. Westfield School is the defending 3A champions. Remember, they had that 26-18 marathon against
incredible.
Piedmont last year in the other field because they actually had that if necessary game, and they ended up taking it because Piedmont, the 1-16 team, that was the runner-up last year.
Yeah,
getting a lot of credit, being having a tough season, but have played a tough schedule. But Westfield School it's looking like it's going to be Terrell Academy and Westfield School when it's all said and done. But those are the top 8 teams that are going to go to South Commons in Columbus.
All right, now let's move forward to go to 4A, and this classification. Good luck. The runner-up is ranked number 8 right now, and they are perennially a team that's been in the championship and semifinals of that state tournament for many years. That's George Walton. They come in at 12-11. Stratford 11-9. Bethlehem Christian 14-6. Loganville 10-7. The team that was ranked nationally last year that won it all, Tatnall, comes in at 13-5. FPD 14-3. I have seen Strong Rock several times, and they are a really good program. You've seen them too, Richard, at
Yes.
13-4. And the number one team, and they have been smacking everyone. They just got beat this past weekend because they played the number one team in 4A of the GHSA in Harris County. That is the Calvary Christian Knights. They were a team last year that made it. I think they were 6th seed. Young, played a lot of 8th graders and freshmen. Now they're freshmen and sophomores, Richard, and look like the favorite to win it all.
Yeah, they were a 4 seed last year, lost to FPD, the 5 seed, and then lost to Strong Rock. So they went 1-2 in the championship. But their first year in the GIAA, but they have majorly improved, being the number one ranked team. Tatnall's where they are because, I mean, when you lose a player like Grady Appling, who had 21 home runs last year, you pretty much your entire
I saw 3
offense.
of them against Calvary when we did that broadcast.
Yeah, that Tatnall is still good, but they are not the nationally ranked team they were last year that won practically 30 games. But looking at the rankings, I think that this is exactly where the teams need to be. But, you know, on the outskirts, you have the 9 and 10 teams, Brookstone and Pacelli, that would love to try to get there, but they just need some help. But I think that your top 8 teams in 4A can make some noise in this double elimination tournament, and any one of these teams can knock off any of the teams. We saw what FPD did. We saw what Stratford did. Stratford was really the Cinderella story last year, getting some big upsets. And, of course, George Walton making it all the way to the championship last year and lost to Tatnall. So any one of these teams can make it. And I'm excited to see really all these teams play at South Commons in that double elimination tournament that starts on Thursday, and they play on multiple fields. I think there's about 4 or 5 fields they play on, and it's just a great event to have all these teams there.
So again, 4A, 8 George Walton, 8, Stratford 7, Bethlehem Christian 6, Loganville 5, Tatnall 4, FPD 3, Strong Rock 2, and the Calvary Christian Knights coming at number 1. Those are your 1A, 2A, 3A, and 4A rankings. Remember, their final ones will come out in over a week. The last game of the regular season is October the 11th. And then when those rankings come out that Monday, teams will know if they're playing in the state tournament that Thursday, October the 16th. All right, we're going to take another break. When we come back from break, we'll do the volleyball rankings because they're final. They're finito. They're done. And we know who's in the playoffs, who's going to be battling for a state championship. And there's only 2 classifications with volleyball. Coming up next on Inside the GIAA, presented by the Beck Center.
Imagine a life-changing injury. Imagine the fear and unknown. The Houston Clinic Sports Medicine Team, the only physicians in the area with advanced certification in orthopedic sports medicine, treats sports injuries with innovative techniques. The Houston Clinic has helped nearly 1 million athletes live without pain. Imagine getting back in the game. Imagine the best game of your life. The Houston Clinic Sports Medicine Team.
I stand alone with fire inside, with passion burning in my veins.
Real recognize real. Real taste, unmistakably Sprite. Real refreshment, crisp lemon lime. Sprite. Obey your thirst.
Back everyone here to Inside the GIAA presented by the Beck Center. Thrift Behringer, Richard Holdridge. Thank y'all so much for tuning in. All right, let's go from softball to now let's go to volleyball and the 2A volleyball rankings. We have coming in, remember, in volleyball, 16 teams make it, okay, for both classifications, but we're only ranking the top 10. But again, 16 teams made it. We'll talk about that bracket in just a moment. But number 10 in 2A is St. Mary's. Number 9 is Westminster Christian School at 7 and 12. Number 8 is Grace Christian, Richard. So Grace Christian comes in at number 8. Sherwood comes in at number 7. At number 6, Holy Spirit Prep. Number 5, Oak Mountain. Number 4, Augusta Prep. Number 3, LaGrange Academy. Number 2, Heritage. And the number 1 team in 2A and the favorite, Georgia Christian at 21 and 3. Wow.
Yeah, remember the top 4 teams get to host. It's kind of like with the NCAA tournament, 1 plays 16, 8 plays 9, 4 plays 13. In the 2A classification, only 15 teams make it because Georgia Christian does have a bye. So they are hosting the winner of Grace Christian, Westminster Christian, Augusta Prep. They're going to be hosting the 13th seed, and then the 5 and 12 matchup is going to be at Augusta Prep. Heritage School, the defending 2A champions, are hosting Highland Christian, and then they'll face the winner of Sherwood Christian St. Mary's. And LaGrange Academy, they are hosting Gatewood, Holy Spirit Prep, and Heritage Prep.
Okay, thank you, Rich. And again, these will be played on Saturday at 2 p.m. and 6 p.m. Actually, one of them starts at 12 p.m. But these games will be played on Saturday, first and second round. Georgia Christian, again, getting a bye. 15 teams made it. As Richard said, Heritage, LaGrange, Augusta Prep, and Georgia Christian all hosting. All right, let's go to the other rankings. And Richard, I'd love to give your insight on these top 10 rankings first before we get in the bracket. Number 10, Valwood, 18 and 10. And remember, this is a combination of really 3A and 4A schools and other sports that have multiple classifications. Number 9, Bethlehem Christian. Number 8, St. Andrews. Number 7, Dominion Christian. Number 6, Calvary Christian. Number 5, Loganville. Number 4, Tallulah Falls. And then the defending champion, unbelievably, number 3, Pacelli. Number 2, the defending state runner-up, Brookstone. And somehow, some way, Kings Academy comes in at number 1 when all season long it's been Brookstone and Pacelli. And then Kings Academy finds an avenue to be able to be in that top 10. What's your thoughts on how the rankings finalized, Richard?
I'm shocked that the Kings Academy got the number 1 seed. I mean, they were the number 2 seed last year and lost to Brookstone in the semifinals.
Right.
But it's been neck and neck between Brookstone and Pacelli. Those have been the 2 top volleyball teams all year. Pacelli had a tough stretch. They actually played a lot of tough GHSA opponents in a tournament. They lost 4 straight. I don't know if the people that were making the rankings were factoring that in, but Brookstone did beat Pacelli. But Pacelli did win the season series 2-1. And I also think that Brookstone having a tough 5-set game against Calvary Christian. Calvary lost a couple of games because they were right there at the 5 seed, could have possibly even hosted, and Calvary ends up falling to the 6 seed. So that we're not going to get that Brookstone Pacelli championship like we got last year, but it's looking like if we have chalk, that Brookstone and Pacelli are going to play in the semifinals on Friday, October 10th.
Sign me up for it. Kings Academy, though, strength of schedule was a 9.5. Brookstone was a 10. But I think because Kings Academy having 3 more wins helped them kind of catapult, and they are not even a full rating above. So it was really close neck and neck between Kings Academy and Brookstone for that number 1 spot. And as you made mention, Richard, they're hosting Mount DeSales, St. Andrews, and Bethlehem Christian. So the number 1 team's hosting 16, and then 8 and 9 face off Andrews and Bethlehem Christian. They win. Kings Academy should be facing off against probably St. Andrews in the 8 matchup. And then on the 4, another team hosting is the number 4 seed Tallulah Falls. They're hosting 13 Fulton Science, and they also are having Loganville Christian and Piedmont, the 5-12 face-off, and the winner will be in the quarterfinals. Brookstone hosting as the number 2 against FPD, and then number 7 Dominion Christian hosts Valwood. So those are the 4 teams in the Brookstone site. And then for Pacelli, the number 3 seed, they host Lakeview, and then Columbus local rival school plays against Stratford, the 6 and 11. So we could have Pacelli and Calvary facing off for the 4th time, this year on Saturday. So all these games will be starting between 12 and 2, and then a lot of the championships will be between 4 and 6. Winners of these brackets will play in the semifinals at Shorter coming up next Friday.
I cannot wait for these brackets, especially for the local teams in Columbus. I'm wondering if Calvary was satisfied with their seeding because they don't have to leave Columbus, but having a tough possible quarterfinal matchup against Pacelli, I think that they would have rather have been maybe the 5 seed and gone to Tallulah Falls because that could be a winnable matchup. But Tallulah Falls is going to be sitting right there, in Loganville Christian, another tough team, is got a very decent draw with Tallulah Falls, but I think that you got to factor in the travel that Tallulah Falls is up there in northeast Georgia. But I do like the matchups, especially with the top 4 seeds getting to host, and then having those games just going back to back, like the try matches. You playing at 2, and then you play the winner of that 4 matchup, and then you sit back and you wait to see who you're going to face.
But unlike in a try match, though, Richard, they're playing best out of 5.
Best out of 5,
because these are playoffs, so that's why there's 2 hours in between games. And I will say the favorite, in my opinion, is goes to Pacelli. They're the defending champion, and until they get dethroned, they should come in as the favorite. I know they're the 3 seed, and right now the Kings Academy is the number 1, but I would never say a defending champion that has 28-9 and played one of the toughest schedules in the state. I would never want to doubt them for sure. So it's going to be a lot of fun seeing these go down. We've thoroughly enjoyed being able to cover volleyball locally where we're at, and we cannot wait for the GIAA State Championships in Shorter, Georgia. At Shorter University in Rome, Georgia, coming up next Friday and Saturday. And again, this is Inside the GIAA presented by the Beck Center. What we're going to do is take another break, and when we come back, it's football ranking time. Who's number 1 in 1A, 2A, 3A, and 4A? I kind of got an idea. I can't wait to share it with you next here. Presented by the Beck Center. It's Inside the GIAA.
Even though I'm away at college, Kinetic Credit Union is still the best way for me to stay connected here and at home. With the Kinetic mobile app, I have control of my accounts wherever I go. I can easily transfer money between internal and external accounts, get money faster by setting up recurring transfers, and I can find the nearest ATM or branch right from my phone. Plus, I can add my Kinetic cards to my phone's digital wallet and enjoy quick, secure, contactless payments. By the way, Mom, I need some more money.
Kinetic Credit Union, the energy for your dreams.
What's up, everyone, and welcome back here to Inside the GIAA presented by the Beck Center. All right, let's go to the football rankings, and we'll start in 1A. Flint River, back at the top, number 1, followed by Edmund Burt, number 2, Robert Toombs, number 3, and Thomas J. comes in at number 4. These are the only 4 teams in 1A. They all make the playoffs, but right now Flint River atop the standings.
Yeah, and rightfully so. They won the championship 2 years ago. They lost in the semifinals last year, but I expect Robert Toombs and Edmund Burke. I mean, they were in the championship last year. I mean, it's really a toss-up with the 4A, with the single A, just the 4 teams. Any one of those teams can knock off each other getting to Mercer.
All right, let's move forward from 1A. Let's go to 2A, Richard, and 2A, we got coming in at number 10, Dominion Christian. And remember, for 2A, 3A, and 4A, we do the top 10, not just because that's normally what you do for rankings, but also because 10 teams make the playoffs. And remember, the top 6 seeds all get byes in the first round. 7 through 10 play in the first round. Then you go to quarterfinals, semifinals, and the championship. Number 10, Dominion Christian. They would play against Gatewood, number 7. Number 9, Augusta Prep would go against Windsor Academy. Number 6, Central Fellowship, 3 and 4. Briarwood, top 5, 4 and 2. Trinity Christian, 5 and 2. Number 4, Southland, I think been the big surprise team in 2A. Southwest Georgia Academy team that played in the championship last year, and the defending champion, the Fighting Adam Lords, big timer is what they like to call him. Brentwood, 6 and 1, coming in this week in the GIAA 2A rankings.
Yeah, Brentwood out of Sandersonville, led by Coach Lord. We got to get to know him a little bit on the road to Statesboro last year, and they are led by their leading rusher, Tristan Robinson. Brentwood, I think it's going to be another showdown with possibly Southwest Georgia Academy out of Damascus. They were able to get a big victory over Briarwood. They did lose to John Millage, but come on, everybody's losing to John Millage nowadays. So that's not nothing to hang your hat over. I mean, that's their only loss. So that's something to just be excited about. That they're a really good football team, and I think that they're going to be at Five Star Stadium in Macon.
By the way, that's where the championships will be played.
At Five Star Stadium, where Mercer University football plays.
Stadium.
Yes.
We forgot to do 8-man football on here, so we apologize. Flag football has not started yet, so I apologize. We did not have 8-man rankings, so I am going to make sure when we get done with 4A, we'll announce those
Right.
verbally here tonight. I apologize about that because I don't want anyone saying, where's 8-man football? Trust me, we have the rankings. And by the way, while we're naming them, you can just go to the GIAA website. GIAAsports.org is the name of the website. Click on football 8-man. You'll see rankings, and it'll take you right to it. Let's go to 3A. And you talked about John Milledge. We'll get to them in a moment. Piedmont comes in at number 10. You're like, how does a 1-6 Brookwood team over Piedmont? Remember, you're
Tough
rewarded for
schedule.
playing a tough schedule. And I love that. You will get more points for losing a game against a top 2 team than you would beating a team that's not really good. Okay? So getting a win is not always the best thing if it's not against good competition. You're rewarded for tough scheduling. So number 10, Piedmont. Number 9, Brookwood. Number 8, Lakeview. Number 7, Terrell Academy. Number 6, Tift Area. And number 5 is Frederica. So it's really 5 through 10. They're in a class of their own. And then above, this is the group that's really vying for that championship. Westwood at 4-2. They just got a big win over FPD last week. Valwood, we know about them. They played in the state championship in back-to-back years. The defending champions undefeated at 6-0. And nobody has beat more top teams from every classification other than John Milledge. They beat the number 1 team in 2A. They beat the number 1 team in 4A. They've beaten everybody. John Milledge is back, baby, and I am not trying to be Joe Tessitore.
I love that reference. John Milledge, what can you say? They were known for that big win streak a couple of years ago. And, beating Stratford Academy, you're able to beat the number 1 team in 4A in a big region game as well. Still, they take on FPD. I think that they run the table and they win out. And John Milledge, I think, is going to win the 3A championship. But they're going to have some competition because Deerfield-Windsor, the defending 3A champions, got something to say about it. Yeah. But I think when it's all said and done, Deerfield-Windsor and John Milledge might be meeting at Five Star Stadium in Macon.
Yeah, I can't wait to see how this plays out. But right now, here is your top 10. And remember, all 10 teams are making the playoffs. Tift Area, Frederica, Westfield, Valwood, Deerfield-Windsor, John Milledge will get that first round bye. 4A. Talk about tough. Whew.
Oh, yeah.
Good luck. Good luck to every one of you coaches. My thoughts and prayers are with you as you got to go through this gauntlet of a schedule that I would not want to. Number 10, Loganville Christian. If you want to sleep on them, you can. They've gotten some big wins, and they're 4-3. But problem is they got so many good teams above them. Pacelli, I know you see the 2-4, but they have played a really tough schedule. Some top teams out of GHSA, plus they've lost to Stratford, FPD, and a really improved Strong Rock team who comes in at number 7. Bethlehem Christian comes in at number 8. Number 6, Calvary Christian, 5-1. They were 9 last week. This is what I'm talking about, the scheduling. They played the number 2 team in Brookstone, played them tough. They moved up 3 rankings.
They got rewarded.
Because they played someone. And honestly, they were awarded more from that loss than they were from the previous 5 wins. Again, scheduling matters.
Matters.
Number 5, George Walton, they're undefeated. And they're the only undefeated 4A team, but they played the weakest schedule out of the top 5 teams in 4A. FPD comes in, the team that's playing the state championship the back-to-back years. How about the defending champion? Their only loss is, guess who?
To John Milledge.
John Milledge was taking names and numbers this year.
Taking names, yeah.
We heard what you said last year. We know we were not very good. We're coming after everybody from every single classification. Bullock, though, defending champion, 5-1. That loss to John Milledge, obviously not a bad one. Number 2, Brookstone. Their only loss is to Stratford. They've been 6-1 with a new coach. And then number 1 team, Stratford, who is taking Brookstone and Pacelli to the woodshed. And their only loss is?
To John Milledge.
To John Milledge. Stratford comes in ranked number 1. I don't know who the favorite is. I guess you could say Stratford. Why wouldn't it be the defending champion, Bullock? FPD's made it in back-to-back years. Brookstone's played a tough schedule. I mean, this is going to be tough, man. I cannot wait for the playoffs to start in a few weeks.
Yeah, last year we saw Bullock Academy kind of fly under the radar. They ended up winning the championship. How about like a team like had a very good record last year, Bethlehem Christian. They were a top seed. I think the team to look out for is George Walton because they are undefeated. I think that George Walton has proven that they can make a deep run in the state playoffs. So look out for George Walton. But yeah, it is wide open, especially with the top teams in 4A.
Yeah, I agree with you on that, Richard. So here are your rankings. There's your top 10. Remember, 7, Strong Rock, Bethlehem Christian, Pacelli, and Logan will play in the first round. 1 through 6 get first-round buys. That is if the playoffs started today, but don't forget, it is Pretender Contender Month in football. We will know who are the real teams that can win it all and who are the teams that are kind of fading back as we get ready for the playoffs to start in November. Man, we have had a jam-packed show. I want to say thank you again to Tommy Marshall, our commissioner. Thank you to Stan Whitlock. Thank you to Kent Copeland, Robert Slocum, and, of course, our associate commissioner and Mr. Do-It-All, Clint Morgan. We appreciate their support of what we do. We want to thank Mallory and Evans for their support of what we do. Don't forget, we announced the team of the week, and Drew Butler will make an appearance on the high school scoreboard show that we have.
Yes.
11 o'clock this Friday, live from the Beck Center. Richard, can't wait for that. We'll give you all the scores that we have for around the GIAA as we do every single Friday night. And glad that we keep being able to do this and showcasing the wonderful talent that is around this association.
Yeah, and I'm glad that we are in the new studio for the Beck Center.
Yeah, Beck Center Studios, baby.
This is really just a great studio, and I'm glad to be a part of it, and I can't wait till Friday.
Well, we've had a lot of fun. We want to say thank y'all so much for watching the short, abbreviated show, but coming up next week, we're going to start having on some guests, talking to some of those volleyball coaches that they head into championship week and semifinal week.
Well, Trip, I want to ask you, like the GIAA shows we did in the past, are we going to have like a volleyball correspondent, like a cross-country correspondent? I was just throwing that out there.
That's something that we're definitely
something in the works. Yeah.
Either way, we're going to have someone on, whether it's coach or correspondent.
He'll be a coach. Yeah.
Softball and volleyball. We'll probably even try to get our commissioner out to come and talk, Clint and Kent, about what's happening coming up in the next couple of weeks with the softball and volleyball state championships. And don't forget, GIAA.TV. That is the site. That's where you get to watch all the games coming up this year for 25-26 school year and state championships. Make sure to like us on Instagram, follow us on YouTube and Facebook, and we want to say thank y'all so much for watching. We'll see you next time on Inside the GIAA. And don't forget, Friday, High School Scoreboard Show presented by
the Beck Center.
We'll see you next time.